But my wife was out one day walking. We had 2 boys, one was 4, one was 6, and she was attacked and murdered. It made changes in me, quite, because at that stage I'm number 1 suspect, which I didn't know. And if it doesn't work to get to exactly where I want, it's fine. You have to be kind to yourself. Go with problems. I just bring them on. I love it. Thought about making this into a series. Well, yeah, why not?
Right, so welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today we have got Michael Ross, who's, what would you describe yourself as?
Well, I was trying to say it before. It's a little difficult. I guess when people ask me if they're running out of time, I just say I'm a creative entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It sort of covers everything.
Yeah.
But if they want to say, no, tell me exactly what it is you do, then I do many things, really.
Yeah.
And from being a creator of a fitness brand, which I've got 2,500 instructors in 3 European countries, or then became an actor. But to keep myself going as an actor in the early days, I decided to be a hairdresser to fund me, which seemed to work quite well. But the acting went on, and then developed that fitness side of it. And then I thought, well, I'll try writing some books. So I became an author. 28 books later, and one of them is on the verge of hopefully being commissioned as a TV series in the States. So that's that. And then 3 years ago, I thought, you know what, I'll go down to a little place called New Mills, which is where I live. And I went to this little shop and I bought some old paintbrushes and some school acrylic paint. I thought, I'm going to try painting.
Yeah.
And then within a year, I had a solo show in New York. And I'm in Times Square on these boards, which I found really disappointing.
Right.
I'll tell you why, because I saw the videos of it and I could see myself. We're talking 10 seconds maximum. But everybody was so busy in their lives, they weren't looking up. And I just thought, please, will you look up?
Yeah.
So I've done Italy and I've done other local art competitions and so on. So that more or less keeps me busy.
Yeah.
Really.
Just a few things.
Yeah, but I do tend to find I go from, put a lot of energy into one thing. For example, with the art. And then I had inquiries about some of the books, particularly one I've got. And so, excuse me, you start then, all that energy goes there. So I haven't actually been painting now for 4.5 months.
Right.
But it's there for when I want to go back to it. And I guess in a way that's been my life. I've got hooked on something and I'll try to make it work as best you can. And then I thought, well, I'm satisfied. That'll be fine there. I would like to take it further, but, this looks interesting. Let me have a go with this. And I have a friend who's the same. He's really successful at getting different businesses going. And once he's got it to a certain extent, he says, I'm bored with it. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of that feeling about it all.
You were saying previously you were a microbiologist. At
the very start, yeah. I thought I was an academic, which was totally wrong. And this was with Ciba-Geigy on Ashton New Road in Manchester. And 7 years I was a microbiologist. But I just got bored with it, really. It was too academic for me. And I think we mentioned this before, but I realised you can't share a joke with bacteria, fungus or yeast.
No.
So at that time, I had a friend who had a hairdressing salon and she was struggling to find somebody to help on Saturdays to shampoo. I said, I'll have a go, a piece of cake. I'll shampoo. Do you know, I loved it. I love shampooing their hair and listening to all the gossip. Really, Mrs. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, so I got involved with hairdressing. Then I was made redundant. And I remember going to the technical director of the Ciba-Geigy then. And he says, so we're really sorry about this, Michael, but so let's try and find some other scientific section within Ciba-Geigy. He said, no, I want to be a hairdresser. I just had that look in his eyes, thinking he's obviously flipped here.
He's lost it.
Absolutely. So I went down to London for a year, and I trained with a company called Anil International.
Okay.
And then I came up to Manchester, and then I remember getting a job at the ladies' hairdressing department at Kendall's. It's called SNL, where I made my mistakes. Oh, sorry, I gained my experience, I was told, I have to say. And that was okay, but again, it was just too big for me. And then the person I was helping out with the hairdressing salon was selling up. I thought, you know what? I'll take it on board. It was already set up, and I knew lots of the clients. So that's then became a hairdresser. At the same time, the thing is with hairdressing salons, you meet all sorts of people. And I had a lot of middle-aged ladies, lovely ladies used to come in. And there's a very well-known amateur theatre called the Carver Theatre.
Yeah.
And the great thing about the Carver Theatre is that we're in what people would call Granada land. And a lot of the BBC and Granada directors would, after a hard day's work, they'd come to the amateur theatre. So you were getting this amazing training for free.
Right.
And because I thought it was because I was such a good actor, but it was mainly that there were no other like mid-20-year-old men around.
Right.
So I tended to get the lead roles only because there was nobody else to choose from. So, and I realized I loved comedy and that sort of things.
Yeah.
And that led on to me then doing a degree in film and television, really.
Right.
And I did it in Salford. And then joined up with an agency. And the thing with acting agencies, when you start at the very beginning, there's thousands of them there.
Yeah.
And you'll be in there and they may ask you to hold up a glass. And there's about 1,000 people. You're at the back, nobody can see you. And you think, wow, this is my first acting role. I think amazing. And then it just went on from there. You work your way up. You come across agents who have less on their books. And you then start to get one-liners in things, and then maybe a paragraph or something to say. And my first big break, and I'm really good at being smarmy, you know. I know you can't tell, but and I got this job as a smarmy estate agent in Emmerdale.
Right.
And that really set it going. And there's quite a difference between being an extra and an actor. I mean, it's a whole world of difference. In fact, I have to say, it is quite stark. I'd been going for a while doing extra work, and this is at Yorkshire Television. And I remember couldn't find anywhere to park in these big car parks. There was a small one near the reception area, and there was a security guard there that I knew. I said, look, Bert, is there any chance of me parking? You know very well, this is for real actors. They said, so, I am an actor today. I am an actor. Oh, yeah. What's your name? I said, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ross. Here you go. This is for you. I thought the candid camera is going to come out any minute for this. And then I walked in, because see, lots of my friends, I have a huge canteen.
Yeah.
And I remember going to reception. Oh, hello, Michael. Yeah, just go through. All your friends are in there. I said, no, I'm an actor today. Oh, let me have. Oh, excuse me 1 second. Got in touch with the assistant director. Said, oh, hello, Mr. Ross. So nice to see you. Please come with me. So suddenly I'm in the green room with all the principal actors. So it is
a different world. Yeah.
Marked as that, really.
Yeah.
So that acting kept me going, and I ended up doing about 17 years in theatre, then did TV, and then finished off with films, really. And the last film I was involved in was the first Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., and they filmed a lot of that at Manchester Town Hall. And I remember coming out one day with another friend of mine, you know, a few lines, nothing principled at all. And we came out, it was about 6 o'clock, and we came down the steps of Town Hall, and across were all the paparazzi. And they all got up. And I'm doing their cameras. I said, Steve, we've made this now. And then this chin was on my shoulder. It was Robert Downey Jr. He said, I think they're here for me, guys. So he got in his stretch limousine, went to Malmaison, and we got on the tram and went home.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I thought I need a change from hairdressing. I've been doing hairdressing quite a long time. And I started thinking about writing books. And then, you know, we all have things in our life that can be quite dramatic and life-changing. And I'm going to say this now, and it'll sound really quite stark, but my wife was out one day walking. We had two boys, one was 4, one was 6, and she was attacked and murdered. And you think, in a place like this, you know, why? And to cut a long story short, it made changes in me, not only for my children, because I had to then be a mum as well as a dad. You know, they had all this sort of things in here. But I just thought, life's quite precious, and you've got to make the most of it. And I always think that how you brought up in your life, different experience of things may come to help you in situations like this. So I'd been to a boarding school. My mum and dad used to work abroad, so I went to board. And the boarding school teaches you to be really independent, and I can sort that. No, I don't need any help. I'll do it. So a little bit of that came into it. I'd also become a Buddhist, not one that puts orange clothes on and goes hum all day long. It was to live by Buddhist principles, which is very similar to Christian principles, I think, anyway. And so that helped a bit. My overriding concern were the boys, you see, so, and they were doing really well. And I went to see a clairvoyant about 3 months after she died. It was a murder trial, which was a year long. But anyway, we went to this. And as I walk in, first thing she says to me, "Oh my goodness, you've got to write." I said, "I can write." I didn't know what she was talking about. No, you've got to write books. It's all here. You've got to think about writing a book. And I got it completely wrong, because what happened was that night when I went home, I got a few atmospheric candles and tried this thing where you're trying to be one with everything, with the pen, to see what will come out. There was a few scribbles. I said, that's not right. But what she really meant was being an author, you see, and to write. Whilst I was there, she also said at one stage, don't need to go in it, but she said, very beautiful woman's just come in. And she's got lovely blonde hair, she's got a bun, and she's handing it to you. And she's telling me to tell you, you need a bit of sweetness in your life, but you really need to know one thing, that the way of her passing was traumatic, but she's absolutely at peace. And I think it was just that I was told, that sort of, I just felt so much better, ready to go and explode out. So after that, I started writing these books, and I wrote one called Just 5 More Minutes. I sat in my armchair one day, and 3 months later, I finished this book called Just 5 Minutes. It was all about what happens, because I think people, it's not morbidity at all. People just want to know, what's it like for an ordinary person when you hear this? How did it start? How did you find out? And all this. And then the second half, I'm a very positive person, and I gave all these reasons why you shouldn't go down in that dark, deep, depressive hole, that you can come out and help people. And one thing I always do say to people, there's 3 people alive because of Jackie, because Jackie would always have liked to have donated organs, yeah. And there was a young man at the time, I think he was about 32, had a very serious liver disease. He was getting 2-3 weeks off dying, I'm afraid. And anyway, to cut a long story short, he had Jackie's liver. And the letters I had from his fiancée, from him, his mum and dad, his grandparents, via the transplant coordination, were just amazing. So she saved one life there, and then 2 other people had a kidney each, and they're alive. So, and I just know she would have lived this.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is going to sound really strange now. I can find human things at the right point. And there came a point when, after 9 days, she'd been unconscious all the time, that they said, you know, it's gone to her brainstem. She's really dead now. We have to do all the tests tomorrow. And at the last minute, a lady came and said, was your wife religious? I said, well, I don't know how far out you can stretch the word lapse, but she was a Roman Catholic. You know? And this guy came in like a whirling dervish. That's another religion. Anyway, he came in and said, would you like me to perform the last rite? I said, yes, please, that'd be nice. Would you like to be there? Yes, please. And then when he got to that point, and when he said, Jackie, I absolve you all your sins, I started smiling, and he had to turn around and see me smiling. What are you smiling for? I said, I don't want, can you please include all those drinking binges we used to have in Gran Canaria? Because it's, you know, it's so, and then from then, it was always a series of little experiences with other people and things that you learn along the way that relatives can't help you because they don't know how to.
Yeah.
There was a funny incident where we'd been going through the headmaster's study, and one day Ben, who is now 7, and he said, Dad, can I go through the gates like everybody else? I said, yeah. And so we stood there, and across the road where the gates are, there's all these mums that I knew, and I'm on my own on the other side, and it was like looking at the start of the Olympic 1,500 meters. They're all behind me and shuffling their feet, looking. I said, please come over. Come and say hello, it's okay. So they came over one by one, and after the 5th woman who broke down and I comforted her on my shoulder, I said, aren't I supposed to be the one that's doing it on your shoulder? And so you end up comforting lots of people in that sort of situation. Anyway, so that then led me on to being very open and doing lots of other things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And learning on the way. And the way that I learn and set new things off is there's never really failures. In the heat of failure, there's something that you can get out of it and that you can learn, and it's an experience. A very good friend of mine, a true Buddhist, and I said, how do you cope with problems? He said, I said, bring them on, I love it. Because I know I'm going to be learning something. And so I've always used that sort of attitude. And if it doesn't work to get to exactly where I want, that's fine. And you have to be kind to yourself. And this is another of these Buddhist things that, you know, if you can be kind to yourself, then you can be kind to other people. And so that was a big part of my philosophy about it all. So you have to remember that right at the initial start, I'm the chief suspect.
Right.
Until they eliminated me with DNA.
Okay.
And in those days, we're going back 20 years now, and of course in those days, didn't have a sat-nav.
Yeah.
And she'd been taken to Stepping Hill. They'd done brain scans. They said she needs immediate operations on the brain. And they said, do you want to go in the ambulance or do you want to, Hope Hospital? Yeah, I think I know where that is, Salford, I'll get there. And it was a Sunday morning, it's about 11 o'clock. And I'm driving around, because all the industry is closed. I think I'm lost. So I drove down a side street to get my map out, as we used to in the old days.
Yeah.
Suddenly this car screeched up. It's these two guys I recognised from before, but were detectives. Where are you going? Why did you stop here? You were supposed to be going to the hospital. Yeah, I know, but I got lost. You follow us. You do not leave the end of our car. Okay? Quite, you know. Because at that stage, I'm number one suspect, which I didn't know. So, you have to remember, it all started, the whole idea of the book is called Just 5 More Minutes. We've all been in that situation where you're waiting for somebody, a friend or whatever, they were due at 11 o'clock and it's now 10 past, it's half past, you haven't heard from them. They tried phoning, you couldn't get through. You think, where are they? So that can go on for about an hour and a half, like it did with me. And it reached a stage where I thought, she may have fallen and hurt herself. What should I do? So you have to formulate what you do. So I thought, right, well, what happens is, if I don't hear back, I will drop the boys off with the godmother, and then I will walk or run one of the routes. And she had several routes that went around. So you have to come to a point. The big thing is you have to decide when to do it. Because even at that late stage, I thought, I'm going to be a real fool I'm going to phone the police up and everything, and she's going to come through the door. So, sorry, I got waylaid or whatever. So that was always there. So it was something like about 10:15, heard nothing, and I kept phoning every 5 minutes. It was on answer machine. This idea of always take your phone in case of emergencies didn't work. And I thought, it went right round till about 11:25. I'd been trying. I said, right, I'm going to give it 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to get everything working. And you go to the front of the house, you look up and down, see where, can't see it, right, I've got to do it. And that was out of all the decisions to make, that was a difficult one. So there, come 5:30, I then went out, set everything in motion. And it was, at that stage, I just phoned up Nanette, the boy's godmother, hadn't phoned the police. Well, I thought, I'm just going to try the phone one more time. And it was answered by a man. And this man said, who are you? I said, no, I want to know who you are. That's my wife's phone. I'm officer such and such a person. And I told him Jacqueline was my wife and that she's had a fall and going to Stockport. So that's how it all starts.
Right.
So
mad.
And it's a funny thing, I think as human beings, you get used to, your body has a way of trying to protect you. I mean, I can talk about it now completely unemotional. There's no emotion there at all. And at first that really worried me. I always wanted some emotion there to keep it there, and there was none. Out of all of it, people have asked me sometimes, was there anything about the last time you saw Jackie that it was important for you? I said, yes, I was still in bed as normal. And she was going on a power walk with our dog. She leaned down, kissed me on the cheek, says, I'll see you later. Love you. And that was important.
Yeah.
Imagine that if you'd had an argument, So that was really helpful for me. And that was good. And then, like I say, with the clairvoyancy. And then my world opened up. I went to great pains to make sure the boys were okay and protected from everything they could see or experience.
It was in the news and everything at the time.
Well,
I remember it.
Yeah, it's funny how people do remember it. And it came to the point when the consultant said, she's died. We have to do the test tomorrow. So we had some childminders, a husband and wife team, and they were fantastic. I mean, and still are. And I said, right, well, I'll have to tell the boys tomorrow. It's Tuesday tomorrow, I'll tell them. And at my disposal, free of charge, I had all sorts of police help, counsellors, everything. And the one was a family therapist. And I said, look, I've got 2 boys, one's 4. How do I tell them that the mother's died? He says, well, the 7-year-old, he's almost 7, Ben, just tell him as it is, in a gentle way, that she's been hit on the head, she won't be able to come back. Okay. And he'll react like an adult. But 4-year-old, completely different. Right. And she told me how he may react. And so I'll tell you what happened and you can see what. So I told Ben, and he got really upset. And so that was Ben. Then Oliver. So I told him in the gentlest way possible. I said, do you want to ask me any questions? Can I play on PlayStation now? And that's it. And he was fine.
Yeah.
One question that came up, and I know comes up with lots of other people that have been in my situation, is after a while, when it's finally settled in with the children, they will ask the question, when are you going to die, Daddy? So they start to become aware of it all. And I always think a child is, at least if you've got one person that is there for them all the time, that loves them, wholeheartedly, they're happy. So that's the question that sort of came up at a later time.
And What was it like going to see the clairvoyant? Do you feel like someone was saying you should write? Like,
no, writing, nothing. I had no idea of that. I just wanted to hear if Jackie was going to come through, which she did.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little story from that. This is just because I know you either believe clairvoyance or you don't, and that's fine. Everybody has their opinions, you know. But sometimes this one said something which I cannot figure how she would have ever known. So she says, she's laughing now. She's laughing at you. I said, well, she always did laugh at me. And this clairvoyant, we're not in a dark room. We're not going home. She's recorded. She's asked me a question a million times while she's here, because I'll tell her about you. All right. So she said, she's laughing at you now because you're doing something. Do you have a shower room or bathroom? I said, yeah. She says, she's doing something when you used to be in there, and you always used to complain to her that, why are you doing that? We had a toilet with Lucy's that had brass hinges on. And brass, after a while, gets verdigris, this screw.
Yeah.
And she had an old toothbrush hidden under the bath. She used to clean it all. And I said, what are you doing that? And she said, she's laughing because you're doing it, aren't you now? I said, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Undeniably.
Well, for me, it worked quite well.
Yeah.
But I hadn't, I didn't regularly go to clairvoyance. I just felt the need. I wanted to go in this case, and so I did.
I'm kind of fascinated because everything after microbiology is very kind of arty and creative.
Yeah.
But you've got to have done quite a lot of science and before that, to even become microbiologist for a big, a leading company. And, so how did you want to do that initially? Or was it just something you went into? Or?
I always felt, we had careers officers. I don't know if ever you had one that came round to your school, but we had ours.
Bless you.
He was rubbish. I mean, to be honest with you. I mean, my mum and dad were living in Africa. He didn't even look at me once. I remember going in, he said, what's your favourite subject? I said, biology. He said, okay, where do you live? Africa. Well, maybe game reserve apprentice might work for you. Next. Well... it was like that. I did have another one. It was a bit more reasonable. He said, you're obviously doing sciences. I had done A-level art, but that was it. I didn't think any more of that. And I began to realise that if you think about being creative, it doesn't necessarily mean painting a picture.
No.
You can be creative as a microbiologist in a way of working out a particular experiment to find a result for something.
Yeah.
So creativeness is everywhere, really. And I think I was just brought up in Africa with colours and things all around me. So that's why I started getting into the art. But because the art came later, it was the acting, which again was creative, and the hairdressing, which was creative. So I always have that creative bent. Not that I thought about it like that at all.
No.
But that... Yeah, it was obviously all there. But just this idea of wanting to do things. Like I wanted to go skiing. I had a friend who went skiing at Rossendale. And he says, come along, you'll like it. I was a bit older by then, And I went along and, it was great fun. I said, I'll never be as good as you. You have to be born or something. No, you don't. You do the instructor courses. So I became a ski instructor. And then I went with... There was a little travel agent on Town Street. And she said, would you like to come over when I put the group together and teach first and second year skiers? Oh, yes. She said, we'll pay you and you'll have your afternoons free.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I started doing that. And then hairdressing came in one day because I always like to go for 2 weeks. There was a group of 30 people going out for 1 week. I went with a friend for the first week, went with a company called Ingham's, and there were 2 reps, and one of the girls had long blonde hair, and it was cut really badly. I never say anything. And she found out I was a hairdresser, And she says, "Oh, I know you're a hairdresser. You couldn't possibly just do something for me. We have a butcher in the village, but he's the only one. My weekends are taken up with transfers, and during the week I'm working here, so I can't get out." I said, "To be honest with you, I don't take my scissors with me." Well, she says, "You've told me that your hairdressing salon is on Tower Street, and I know Gwenda very well. If I phone up Gwenda, who nips down to the salon to bring the scissors out, will you cut my hair?" I went, "Wow, gosh. Yeah, you could do that." I'll do it." So she brought out the scissors and the combs, and I cut her hair. Whatever I was going to do, it felt a lot better. She was over the moon. She says, "Oh, do you know, you won't believe what it means to me. Thank you so much. Please let me pay." I said, "No, I don't want anything for it. That's fine." She said, "Well, look, this is towards the end of the holiday. We help each other, all the various reps from different companies. I'm owed a week's bed and breakfast. And we also get 2 free allocations for relatives to fly out." And none of my relatives like, "Why did you come out for a week, half board? Or, bed and breakfast?" So I went 2 weeks later. Do you know something? Every time I go on holiday now, I always take my scissors and comb. Who would have thought, that, and it's mixed up with kindness. I like to do kindness things for me. I'm not particularly good businessman in the sense that I'll work something out and think, yeah, we need to make so much money on this thing. There's lots of things I do. I don't want any money back because the money isn't the reward for me. Now, at my age, there's certain things I couldn't do. So I found that really helpful. So like with my paintings, in fact, we've got one. I met up with friends this weekend in Yorkshire, and they've got a daughter who's a radiographer down at a big hospital down in London, and I've donated a big fairy picture that's going to be hung up at the start of the children's ward, and I don't want anything for it. All I want is that children might just look at it and get something from this painting that I've done,
So it's one thing doing things like painting and writing, and it's another making a living from it.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, certainly with the acting, I wanted to make money. I wanted to be a famous actor with thousands of very beautiful women following me, which was never, ever in a million years going to happen.
It depends whether you were working with Robert Downey Jr. at the time or not.
Well, exactly. And there's a really important, I'll bring it up, I'll remember to bring it up, a very important thing about that with all the different sorts of works I've done, which is really important. But anyway, like when I did Emmerdale, it was 5 years later I did a little check because that episode was shown in New Zealand.
Right.
So we kept getting all these little bits. And I went from from acting into modelling. Yeah. I'm not a beautiful model. I'm a character model. Yeah. I mean, I'm really good at gormless. And I could do all sorts of crazy faces and photographers like this. Yeah. And it's acting without the script. And I thought, I really love this acting bit here. Yeah. So you used to get quite, they were very lucrative depending on, if I'm in a page in a magazine that is going to be shown at Macclesfield Railway Station, that's one amount of money. And then if it's shown at 2 stations, you get more. Right. If it's shown within the UK, a lot more. If it's shown within Europe, boom, it goes. So, yeah, I mean, there were times, and I flew around the world to Istanbul for 4 days, modelling over there, and but I did a lot of in sort of character type modelling jobs, and I used to get paid for those. That's great. I don't think I'll never be a millionaire, but I have to be thankful that I've always been comfortable, and I think I'm all right with that. Yeah. I may not have my Ferrari, I've got a Kia Rio, but it works and it's reliable. Yeah, I've always been comfortable, and I am now, and will always be. I somehow have this absolute surety that I'll never find myself in the really depths of financial problems somehow, because I can do all these things. Like I say, I still do 25 clients now from 30 odd years of hairdressing.
Right.
And I'll continue to do them, including, I might add, I wonder if she'll see this. I won't mention any names. Martin Bridge, a very famous porn actress, but she still needs, and she runs her life as a business. Her husband is her business manager, and she wants her hair nice.
Yeah.
She always teases me, said, "Would you like payment any other way?" Oh no. Let's just stick to what we do. And she's lovely. She's got a real good business head on, and she works it as a business.
Yeah.
So. Making the money through the modelling and the art's done well, you know. I mean, I did a few commissions for people in America, and they're big commissions, so that was good. So that, you know, sort of kept me going all the way over there too. So, yeah, and a hairdressing salon was really successful, really. I mean, there's quite a few on Town Street, but we all had our different niches.
Yeah.
Mine were a bit more expensive. People who didn't want to wait, if they came in, they wanted to be seen right away. Well, you can do that if you give extra time, but you have obviously you have to increase the money a bit more. So, yeah, all that side of it has worked really. Now, I said before about an important thing that comes up. My ambition with, for example, the acting was to be famous. We want to be famous, you know. And so that was that. And with the art, I want to be a really famous artist. With modelling, a very well-known model, you know, and all this stuff. What happens is you can put your effort and creativeness and business head into doing something, and you get to a certain stage. And to me, it's like you've come up to this fast-flowing river, Shangri-La's across. That's where you made it as in my sense, as say a well-known actor. But getting there is really difficult because then comes chance and luck and who you know, and the way I am with the books, and one of the books being made a TV series, is that purely by chance, an award-winning screenwriter in America read my book, and he got in touch with me and said, "Ever thought about making this into a series?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I mean, why not?" I said, "I can't pay you. If you want to come on board, let's do it together and we'll split the profits." He just knows people because he's an award-winning screenwriter. And there are producers that will listen to him. And if it's not their genre, they'll know a producer that is, and they'll read it.
Yeah.
Because producers all around, certainly in America, have got rooms full of scripts that will never be read. So for a guy that goes dog walking so often in the wilds of New Mills, there was never any way I was going to get over there. So with him, it's brilliant that he knows people. So it's really up the chances. Don't mean I'll be successful, but it's really up the chances then.
So, okay. The books. So, what are they called?
Well, I've decided I don't just write one book, did I? Come on.
Yeah.
So I had to write all sorts of books, from even small children's books with important moralistic messages in, with cartoons. And I came across a lady, Croatian, that we're really good friends now. I've known for 20 years. She designed everything. But, you know, so I've written everything for teenagers, for adults. Mainly is to do with fantasy. But at the start of lockdown, if you remember that first year of lockdown, it was a really nice summer. And opposite where I live, these terrace cottages, there's a big grass verge, belongs to the council. You know. And we approached the council, can we just do something, get the children involved, and let's plant flowers. They can paint pebbles and put them on the thing. And it went off really well. We all worked on it, and we did it. And I thought, I'll build a little fairy garden. So I built this little fairy garden. It had lots of little stones here, sparkly things. Then I started seeing children stop and making a wish, you see. And then I put a water feature on it and some fairies. Then I had a letter threatening I'd be taken to court by Derbyshire County Council because you're not allowed to have water features or fairies on council land. So, oh dear. So I moved it to my front garden. No, seriously, I'm being serious. So we moved to our front garden, which was safer anyway, and it's huge. So I've started. So at that point too, I thought, what else can I do for children? I know. I'll put it out on Facebook and everything else because we're all at home, aren't we? Draw a fairy for me, name it, colour it, send it to me, and I'll publish it in a book with a fairy story I'll compose. And it was called My Fairy Garden. I had 72 fairies in 24 hours. I've now finished book 4. I won't do any more. I've had fairies sent to me from all around the world. Right. From Ukraine, Russia before the war, America, Sweden. Never, ever advertised once. Somebody tell me how that works. And the delight for me, honestly, was when I'd have book signings down in Newmills. And you get a little 6-year-old girl coming out. She's quite shy. I said, put your fairy in here, Thumbelina, or what it was called. And I show her the book. The look on her face that she's achieved something at that age. Yeah. And I think that can be really important for kids because even that I said, oh, I've done something and I've achieved this. And it's in a book. It's fine. And so that worked really well for me, you know. So it's those sort of things I get from it that, to me, can mean more than monetary things, as I said before. But I'm in the street now to get the books really read well. So that's where I'm aiming with it all.
And so you built out a bigger series of books based on the fairy.
Yeah, I mean, the classic one is something called One Chronicles, and the One Chronicles is what they call epic high fantasy. And if you're not in the book world, sometimes you think, what does that mean? So the comparables are Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, The Witcher, Shadow and Bone. So that's the sort of feel it is to it. But it's a modern thing, and I didn't want to just stop there. What a classic book. If Tolkien can do it, I can do it better, sort of thing. Well, it's certainly more like than mine. And so I got a cartologist to draw a map. I wanted a map of this elvish kingdom called Laniakea. Yeah. I got a guy who can create languages. So I've got a very basic elvish language called Soldarin. And then I'm thinking carefully now about what I have to say, because I've even got a phonetic help in the back for Americans. Okay. Look, Americans are very intelligent, far more than me, but they can never produce my English hero's name, which is called Hugo Bruff. So this Brog guy, when does Brog come in? No, Bruff. What? Bruff. And so, and there's a lot of pressure for you to have all the grammar and spelling in American. So what do you do? Do you do it English or American? So then I found out that we English can read American books, but Americans prefer to read books that are written in American grammar and stuff. You know, so there's all that came into it. So so that is a classic. It's 3 books, 500 pages per book. The other weird thing about it, and I'll say weird, is that when I first started with that one to sit down, I thought, as most authors do, I'll come up with a theme, I'll build a world, I will have my characters, I'll describe everything else, and set the chapters. Oh, I got so bored, I couldn't do it. I tried. No, writing's not for me. So I just sat down one day with an idea and started writing. I wrote for 6 hours, and then another 6 hours. And I wrote that first book of 500 pages, all like that. And then the second book, exactly the same, and the third book. And I'm what they call a pantser. Luckily, there are other authors that are pantsers as well. We write by the seat of our pants. And that's what we call it. And so I'd written the first one, and I had it edited, and that was all fine. But I thought, well, people like it because I haven't done it like other authors. It's only then when you get the big reviews in, the 5 stars, the awards, you think, oh, it must work. So that really surprised me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a pantser, and that's how I wrote all the other 25 books that I've done. Yeah.
Amazing.
But again, I haven't got time for writing, only that we're now pursuing this idea with the One Chronicles and getting up there. And I'm working on AI to sort of do, but Hollywood at the moment will not even look at anybody with AI. It's like no chance. So I've got trailers that I've done with AI. And the way around it is to say, look, I put this together with AI because I can't afford to have a location manager, director, producer, all actors in, and I couldn't afford it. It'd be thousands and thousands of dollars. But this will give you an influence. But I want to tell you, it is AI, but it'll give you a flavor of it. You know, some of us are visual people that like to look at vision, and I'm one of those. And there are producers who are like that too. You can give them 5 pages to read, or this wonderful movie trailer. They say, oh yeah, I like that. So that's where I am with trying to work on putting together trailers really at the moment. Because I think we're going to get left behind with SEO. Sorry, not SEO. Don't slow down. Well, you can do without that on as well, which is really important. But yeah, using AI. You know, I've been delving into it for 8 months, and at the start I needed 7 different types of AI to get the consistency, get the lip sync, to get the movement, to get the character, and now it's down to 1 or 2.
Yeah.
What it's going to be like this time next year, goodness knows. Yeah.
Would you have any advice for anyone who fancies starting writing books or?
Yeah, I did a blog recently. I'd like to think my blogs get a lot of attention, and one blog I had written was called "How to Write Epic Fantasy: A Beginner's Guide." And in that, basically, I just say, you know, we were all children once. You may not know this, but we were. And I have to convince them that they were, because when you're a child, you're magical. Your mind's wide open. I'm not embarrassed to let creativeness and imagination come into your life. And so I do a little sort of courses where I get people back to thinking, get back to being a child. Look, whatever you do isn't wrong. It's not wrong. Have a go. Think of something. It could be the most weird story in the world. You're not going to show it to everybody. Just show it to yourself and write it out and connect with your childlike self inside to bring that imagination out. And that's works quite well for lots of people.
Yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Forget rules.
My family, we're all similar to that, where we'll go, just have a go.
Yeah.
I think that comes from my mother, who was very like that.
Okay.
You know, just well, yeah, clearly I can do that. You need some new clothes, right? Well, I'll make them.
Yeah. I mean, if I was in charge of education in this country, and I know they've done trials with it. Yeah. If in a junior school, and you've got this class of children, you see one that really loves the paint side thing, another really loves the drawing, I'd put more resources in front of them so they can really expand that thing. And they did it with some trial classes in South Wales. And they went on to be amazing in their interest that they started at school, because all the resources were put there for them to help them with it.
Yeah. So what's the next things for you? What's the future hold for Mike Ross?
Well, holiday in Croatia. It's still, he obviously still wants success. I would, I'm not so worried about the art now, because that ticks over. I could go back to that. I definitely want to do some more painting, but I'm focused on trying to get the One Chronicles successful. If we can get that commissioned, we've had offers, and I'll tell you this because it's funny. I think it's really funny. When Robert General came to me and he phoned me up and said, "Oh, I had one producer. They offered us 17 million, and I've turned it down." And to say that to an Englishman that's been walking the hills with 2 dogs was not the right thing to say. And I said, "You've got to be joking." What is it? No, because for us, that's for the whole production, you see.
Okay.
And he said, "We're looking at, if we can get close 150, 200 million, we know it's going to work well." Oh, and he says, "Be ready, because if we get a commission, you will have to come over and we'll be heading up a team of screenwriters." Right, okay. I find it difficult getting the dog in but I'm ready for those things when they come. But I'm also a little bit prepared, and I think that catches lots of people, that they have an idea, a creative idea, and they set off on it, and it really starts working quickly. Be ready and have something there to cope with the fact that it's so expanded so much. Don't just stop yourself here at this point. If I can reach this, I'll be fine. Then I'll think about what happens next. Let your mind expand a bit and think, well, if it does take off and it does do this, what have I got in place to cope with that?
Amazing. Well, I think that might be a good place to finish it for now.
I can talk behind. There's a lot of donkey with back legs missing here.
Well, there's a lot to talk about, and I really appreciate you coming in, and we'll put all your website links on the description for if anyone wants to look at your artwork or books or anything like that. The books are available on Amazon, aren't they?
They're all on Amazon. I made one little mistake for any would-be authors out there. In the early days, I went only through Amazon. You can get the Amazon ISBN number. They can give you a number. Yeah. But that completely precludes you then from Ingram Spark and all the others.
Right, okay.
So buy your own ISBN, authors. Buy your own. Because then you can get your book out everywhere. So, yeah. And I did want to go down the route of doing being with an agent. But I thought, it's taking time, this, and I just want my book. And that thrill of the book coming from Amazon, landing on your doormat, doesn't matter if it's the first one or the 25th, it's always exciting.
Yeah.
You know.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for
your time. You're welcome.
And
nice to be here.
Telling us your story.